We greet our moderator, we greet our host pastor, other members on the platform, family members, brothers and sisters. Greetings in the name of Jesus. I bring you greetings on behalf of the People's National Party, which I'm a part of. But I'm standing here as a family member. And let me tell you, when I reflect on the life of Mr. Gordon, there are some people that have Mr. and Miss before their name, and Mr. Gordon is one of them. I have never said Lester, always Mr. Gordon for me. And when I reflect on his life and my life, I saw some first things that happened to me. First of all, Mr. Gordon was the first man to take me in his home as a son. He was the first man to open his arms and allow me to be a part of his family. We were neighbors, and I heard his brother mention that there is 13 of them. And so we have things in common because there was 13 of us. And so he was one of the first men to offer me a job. When I was in high school, he was doing construction at Ingleside. And so because of the relationship and the bond that we shared, he was going to work one morning and Leon was on the back of the pickup. And he said, David, we are going to work, you know, and come. And I said, yes, man. And I just jumped on that pickup. And I worked for 2 weeks. And I remember clearly, Marcelo was there. Yes, and Big D was there at the site. And I remember clearly when I got my pay. And I did not want to use it at all. And so we stopped at the shop and everybody was having a drink. And I sat in that van with my pay because I said, sir, we must get the pay. And I didn't spend a cent out of that pay. And I came home and I was so happy working for 2 weeks. And my mother was sitting on the bed and I just full of the money. I don't even remember how much it was. But I gave it to my mother to save for me. And one day, she was in the house crying. And I said, what happened to you? She said, she don't have no money to feed the picnic there. And I said to her, Simon, you can use some of the money when we give you if you put up for me, you know. He said that the money done long time. And you know what it is? So she started crying and me started crying. So I worked for 2 weeks with Mr. Gordon, and I did not know how much I worked because Simon used up all of that money. Brothers and sisters, he was one of the first men to open a door up in his room and said, I can sleep there. I have owned a room for the very first time, sleeping alone in a bedroom. Because I remember I told him it was 13 of us. And he gave me a room and said, David, go and sleep. I am eternally grateful for that. Before I go any further, I want to apologize to the family members for not wearing the color because I got the memo. Yeah, I got the memo early, but I couldn't wear the color today. So forgive me. You're still in my heart. You're still in my heart. He was the first man to have called me when he was doing some farming over in Blue Mountain. I called him. He was farming on about 2.5 to 3 acres of land over in Blue Mountain. and he left that farm and he went away. And I called him and I said, can I continue the farm? He said, David, go and farm on the land. And I started farming at Blue Mountain just because of Mr. Gordon. He left everything on that farm for me. There was pig pen, there was a hut, there was everything on that farm. And he said, go and take it. And I'm eternally grateful for that. Brothers and sisters, Mr. Gordon was a joker. And when I was on the construction site, I'm not doing anything. He said to me, David, go get a pen and a paper, carry come give me. Get a pen and a paper, carry come. So me jump up and go and get pen and paper. And when I come back with it, he said, start right, man, just write. Because of that you come every day. So that was his way of telling me that I was not working. He said that you come to do, so start right. I was able to watch a black and white TV because of Mr. God. And so because where I was living, there were some shows coming on the TV. And so Leon would have called me on different times to say that the show is on, so I must come now. And I would be going to Sister Gordon's story. You know that, so we have, you know? But I will not touch that. But Mr. Gordon, in closing, after doing construction and doing farming, he had decided that he's going to fishery. So he built a tank by his house. And he called me and said, David, a fish may raise now. And he bought some fish. And for 2 months, he said within 6 weeks, he can get fish will weigh 2 pounds. So I'm saying, all right. So 2 months into the farming of the fishery, he called me. He said, David, I hear there's some feeding there for town. I wonder if we can get some for me. I said, what is the name of the feeding? And he tell me. And I was all over Kingston looking for the feeding because he tell me, said, that is the feeding the fish them want. And I finally found the feeding and I bought it. And he said, David, how much more you? I said, you know how me, man, you're a good man. He said, fish up? I said, yes, man. He said, me and you will eat some fish. And 2 months after, I checked with him. I said, how the fish? He said, the wrong feeding. He says, the wrong feeding. So I said, then you say the right feeding? He said, yes, man, tell me about Mandeville. He said, the wrong feeding. So we have to look on different set of feeding. And the fish was there for almost 6 months. And I tell you, say, just like how the fish was in the tank, after 6 months, I see where they stay. Fish them never grow. So I went back to him, and every time I went to him, he said, how the fish? He said, boy, you know, say they lose some of the fish because the bird they pick out the fish. And that was the fish story. Even when he died, I asked him about the fish because he said, boy, we must get some fish for the year. Boy, we never get none of the fish at all. So that money goes down the drain. And finally, I want to say, the first, I am making my public appearance as a councillor for the Wallace Division. I have to be here to celebrate the life of Mr. Gordon because he has impacted my life. His family has impacted my life. And I just want the family members to be strong and to know that we are there for you. Cheryl, Rosalind, Leon, Norman, Dwight, all of you. You know we grow like brothers and sisters. And so I will continue to be here for you. Anytime you need me, just call me. If me at the council chamber, I will come because it's so we live. May God bless you and may his soul rest in peace.